Hey, OLE FC families, parents, players, everybody involved with this fantastic club. My name is Evan Hacker. I'm the technical director for the club. The reason I'm talking to you today is I want to address something that we have coming up in tryouts and the fall season going forward. I find that it's best for us to discuss it, or at least you hear me discuss it over a video, rather than us send out an email, which we will, to explain further. But I want to talk through this first. What we have coming up that is different than the past 7 or 8 years is U.S. Soccer has decided to make a change across the board. This isn't our region, this isn't our state, this isn't our club specific. This is across the board for U.S. Soccer. They have switched from January 1st to December 31st of 1 year to change to align more with the school year, which is August 1st to July 31st. We're aware that that's not everyone's school year, but they tried to do it the best that they could. Again, this is countrywide. Those are the dates that they felt fit the best. And the reason that they are doing this and causing a little bit of chaos for everybody is trapped players. Now, what does that mean? Doesn't mean there's something wrong with your kid or anything like that. It's something that happens around U13, U14, U15 age groups when you have players that are in 9th grade and some players that are in 8th grade. What happens to those 8th grade players is they end up getting stuck, not being able to play in high school when the rest of the team leaves to go play for their high schools. And either they don't have enough players, there isn't enough competition, tournaments, leagues, all that kind of stuff becomes this weird guessing game, and kids lose maximum development when that happens. So this is the reason that they want to change. Now we would like to talk about two things. First thing will be that what does this mean for your teams and your individual players that are involved in OLE FC? It means the unfortunate thing that humanity seems to like the least: change is coming. That's the guarantee that we do have. What we'll be talking about in a minute is how we think that change will be a little bit less for our teams for the most part, and our adaptability is also fantastic with it, but there will be change. For the younger teams, it may be a little bit more. For some of our older teams that may not have other age groups around them or are already in a combined situation, there may be very little change to their own team. But that is where the change to opposition and things like that comes in. So what I can guarantee is there will be change. How much will depend on the individual situations of the teams. I want to talk about the second part, which is how are we prepared as OLE FC for this? First and foremost, I've already lived through this. 8 years ago, the age group switched the opposite direction. So the current setup that we have now was what we are moving to, and now we are moving back. And as we discussed, why that is happening. But I've already lived through this, and as you can see, still here, everything's okay. Same thing with the players and coaches that live through it as well. It will be okay. But the most important part that I want to discuss is our philosophy and methodology and how that makes our players and teams more adaptable and able to handle this. Club philosophy is development over winning, but winning as a byproduct of the development. The way that we achieve that is not by just talking about it, is with having a one club mentality, which means that everybody inside of OLE is on the same page, and our training methodology, which means we use pools and squads that we refer to as age groups, meaning that teams are not just one small team with one head coach and they exist on an island. Our age groups not only are a little bit larger and may have a third team connected with them, but train regularly up, down. There's mixing of things, but the training part is already a little bit of overlap. And the same thing with games when it comes to selecting rosters for league games, for state, for tournaments, for region. There is constant change of those rosters. And what that allows our players to do is adapt better. It allows them to develop to be their best and be long-term soccer players rather than just right now, this one team in this snapshot, I play this position for this coach. That's not what we're here to create. Because our job is to develop players first and foremost, we want to set them up for long-term success. So dealing with change, this is what we do. Now I would like to address specific individual player adaptations. First and foremost, playing up. That is something that we do in our club. Again, based on our club philosophy of development over winning, but winning as a byproduct of that development. Our goal is to develop the individuals along with the teams to the best of our ability. And there are some situations inside of the club where there are players playing up. That will continue. That is something that we address based off of team needs, individual needs, and yes, with the change coming in, it may mix things up a little bit, but I promise you we will find the best places for kids that are playing up or that would now need to play up. We will sort those things out as we go and always have. Another thing that I would like to address is the players in the birth year that are now playing with younger teams. So if you are, for example, we'll stick with the 2014s. If you are 2014, what's going to happen when we have the change is there's now a 2014-13 and a 2014-15 group as opposed to one that's a 2014. So the ones that would be playing with younger players. I found when this stuff happened before that people thought, oh, this means I'm going to a younger team. I'm going down to the 2015s. How is that going to continue to push my player? That's not the case because all of those other players in the city that may be some of the best players on their teams as well that you compete against are doing the same thing. So the whole teams change. It's not just your player being placed on a younger team. Teams across the city change, and everybody is not aware of whose birthday is when. And so that is the change that will happen is, yes, it will be a slightly 6 months younger team, but the competition level and stuff should still be there as it matches up with their school grade. For the final part of the video here, what we want to discuss is what is next. So what is next at the end of the spring season is tryouts. Tryouts is when these birth dates and age group changes come into effect. The U8 through U12 tryouts will be mid-May. The U13 and up will be after State Cup, which hopefully all of our state teams will be in State Cup and competing for state championships. But after that happens, end of May, U13 and up will be having their tryouts as well. Early to mid-April is when we plan on announcing the coaching staff for those tryouts and for the fall season coming up. That will be the perfect time if you have any individual questions to reach out to those coaches. But I need you to understand that one club mentality exists constantly for us. Our coaching staff is all on the same page. We are already looking at the birthdays of who is what on what roster. And literally on a nightly basis, our coaches have a group chat that we discuss our games, development, what's going on with our teams. So this is not an island team situation. This is not separate coaches situation. We are all in this together. We are all in this with the objective of how can we make the experience for our teams and players the best that they can be so they can become the best that they can be. So that's not just something that we start thinking about in April when the coaches are announced. But to summarize, change is guaranteed, but this is an opportunity for us to adapt the same way that we ask our players to on the field. We tell them when they give up a goal, they get fouled, they have a bad call, that we don't play victim and dwell in that and get upset. We believe in a next action mentality. Okay, we've been presented this situation. We can either panic about it or we can go forward. And just like we ask our players to do on the field is the same thing that we will be doing as a club and trying to set the tone for, which is next action.